we're going to start our afternoon portion of workshops with the one and only Miracle 𝐸ℏ. A bit of background, Miracle Management is the brainchild of Miracle 𝐸ℏ, its founder and agency director. Miracle focuses on representing talents from diverse backgrounds, and throughout her time in the creative industry, she's worn many hats, from creative project manager to photographer, model, actor, stylist, agent, manager, and producer. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Miracle and her team.
Hello. How's everyone today? Awesome. Well, I'm here to teach you the art of finesse. Now, what is finesse? I know you guys all have your little booklets in there in front of you. It went off on the screen, one sec. So it's to do something in a subtle and delicate manner. To be successful is to be subtle and delicate in every single thing that you do. Everything is deliberate. Success is hard work. It takes time. It takes perseverance. It takes 20-hour days where you haven't slept for who knows how long. And just like grit, determination, and everything that you've heard about. So the first key rules are to figure out your why. Why are you doing this? What do you want to accomplish? Why do you want to change the world? Does anyone have a why here? Day, what's your why? Oh, you're here. You're here for this. This is one of my talents, Day the poet.
My why, to create, just like Miracle, to create better representation in the media, for more people to see it as a possibility for themselves. That's my why.
Exactly. So the reason why she's been so successful at booking a lot of commercials and getting in front of big casting directors is because she has a why, she has an intent, she has a purpose, right? And when you do have an intent and a purpose, you're gonna manifest that into your own life because you're actually doing something and you're proactive in creating something for yourself. So, why are you in this career path? Why are you doing what you want to do? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you want to change the world? Do you want to revolutionize it? Like, why are you doing it? You have to ask yourself that. That's a very key aspect in being successful. And how is your work going to provide meaning in the life of yourself and others? You're going to hate this shit sometimes. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to be like, why the hell did I do this in the first place? Guess what? You've got to still persevere through it. You got to figure out if this is something that you really want to do and keep doing. So that's a key factor to the success of all of this. This is what will continue to drive you on, your hard days. Every single day I, wake up and I love what I do, but there are days where I'm like, damn, I just need a break. I am tired. And that happens, I'm sure, to the most of you. When you're a student, you're in school, some of you have, full-time jobs. I worked a full-time job and was in school, somehow had a boyfriend and friends, which a lot of them are here today. Shout out to you guys for coming. Winnie, most important. Yeah, you gotta take care of your friends, by the way, because the people in this room, the people you're sitting with, you'll probably see in the long run, when you're working in this industry, because people don't really leave this industry. They're in this industry for the long haul, and they like the limelight. They like going to cool parties. They like being able to dress up and meet cool people, So you want to be able to do that for yourself. So the key to success is building a strong and balanced foundation. This is very important. You want to know why? Because if you don't have balance in every aspect of your life, it's not going to go very well. You need to be able to financially fund your art and your career and your life. I know they say money isn't important, but it is. You are not going to be able to pay your bills, pay your rent, buy food, have your phone, do anything unless you can make money doing what you do. So anybody who says money isn't important, they're conditioning you to throw your money away subconsciously. It is a very important key to success. I have produced short films with my own money. And yes, that costs a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? You guys, you have to realize that this is what, the world is preparing you for. This is a capitalistic society. You gotta be prepared to make your coin. And you also gotta be prepared to make coin for other people. Because you know what? Everything that makes you successful in this industry is through partnerships. It's through building relationships. You will never work on anything alone. It's always working with people. And a lot of the people I currently work with are here in this room today and supporting me. So, this is what happens when you build strong relationships, and that's another key factor to success. So, you want to balance finance, creativity, health, family, friendships, emotionally and psychologically. All of these things are super important to being successful, because guess what? If you don't have a balanced life, you're gonna do the wrong thing somewhere else. If you are not, emotionally stable, you might spend all your money that you're making. If you're not creatively happy, you might end up just drinking and partying away and absolutely wasting your time. So you obviously want to have a very balanced life. Balance is the key to everything, and that will also make you extremely successful. And you have to read. I'm telling you, even though you're done university, even when you're done that, you're going to keep reading. You need to keep learning. You're going to be learning until the day you die. I learn cool things every day. I go on meme sites and I'm like, what? Today I learned this? I can't think of one right now because, I'm up here and I'm a little scared. But, it's all cool, guys. You got to do things that scare you, and that's really what pushes you forward. Starting a business, being a creative is always very fucking scary. Sorry, I'm a creative. We don't really have business rules, so I might swear during this presentation. You also want to develop a formula that allows you to succeed in all aspects. So, for me, I wake up every single day and I set goals. I have a checklist every single morning that I know what I'm going to be doing the rest of the day. I know what I need to accomplish throughout the day. I know the little tasks, the big tasks, the things I didn't do yesterday and the things I didn't do last week, because they're all in this binder that I have of lists of things I gotta do. And that's honestly what success is. I like to, use this, example. You're laying down foundation for a house every single day. And at most, on a really good day, you'll lay down 3 bricks, but every day you're laying down about 1 or 2. And eventually, you step back and you look at the bigger picture and you're like, damn, I've built a house out of this. And that's the strong foundation for which you can continue to build. It's obviously a metaphor, so you can picture it in your mind. But you also have to understand, patience is a virtue. You will want to do things really quickly. You will see people soar past you and think that, whoa, they've made it, I haven't made it yet. And you'll compare yourselves to others. I like to say this: the second you look at your competition is the second you fail, because you only need to be competing with yourself. The only person you need to be better than is yourself every single day. Because at the end of the day, that's the only person who's in your head, the one you have to live with, the one who has the accolades that you have and the name that you have. So it's more important to focus on yourself and your own success, because guess what? Nobody else on this planet has the same experience as you. Even if you are twins, you have completely different experiences in this life. So you have to be aware that that's a huge factor in this. Don't compare yourself to me, don't compare yourself to Oprah, don't compare yourself to anybody. It's very important to, admire people, take things that they've done, take, things and pieces that inspire you and motivate you, but also understand you're developing your own formula, and that's your formula for success, because my formula for success isn't gonna be the same for you guys, because we don't have the same backgrounds, we don't have the same experiences, Like, if I wanna make a movie on being Filipino, it's gonna be hard for everybody in here to be, making a movie on being Filipino. So, you are individuals. You are all successful in your own right. It's just you have to define your success and know what that means to you. I like to say this too. You want to make sure that you have the right energy when you're meeting with people. Not every opportunity is an opportunity. There will be a lot of people who want to, work with you. There are a lot of talkers in this industry. And then guess what? You wasted all this time and money and you have no project. So you always want to make sure that all the people that you're working with are on the same, goals, the same ideas, the same, big picture. Like most of my friends, they want to buy their moms a house. It kind of, we all are like, okay, that's what we want to do. We want to take care of our families. So, all of our goals are aligned. It's not like, oh, I want to go clubbing every weekend. Well, it's kind of hard to be friends with someone who wants to go clubbing every weekend if, I'm a person who likes to stay at home and play video games and plot business strategies. So you have to align yourselves with those who are on the same level as you, so that you also don't end up draining yourself trying to convince other people of, your idea and your dream. Because trust me, you'll find people who believe in the same things as you do, because they're here in this room today. And I like to say this, it's not because my name's Miracle, but miracles happen when opportunities meet preparedness. You gotta be prepared. If you're not prepared to take on an opportunity, guess what? You're gonna fall flat on your face. And I've done this so many times. I've promised to over deliver, and then the due date comes and I'm like, oh shit, this project isn't done yet. And it's due, and they're asking me about it, You have to understand that you gotta be prepared for every single thing that comes your way. When you are, trust me, things are open and ready for you, but you have to build yourself to be the person that you wanna be. And guess what? Pretty much all of the work that you will do will go unseen. People won't respect you, people won't know your 20 hours you put into this, they'll just see the end product. And that's what we see from a lot of creatives, a lot of artists, we see the end product. And that's an unfortunate reality, is we get so, dazed from the end result that we forgot that there's a whole process behind everything. So you have to remember that not a lot of people are gonna see this, but you have to do it anyways, because you're doing this for you. You're doing this to change your life, to change the world. And honestly, if you're not doing anything to change the world, don't be doing it, because you're gonna have to be doing this for a long ass time. Yes, you can change careers, but guess what? You're still building the same skill set, you know what I mean? You still have the same things. Like, if I'm great at communications, I'm not suddenly gonna be like, yes, I am gonna be a mathematician. Like, I don't know anything about math. So that's not gonna be very successful for me. You gotta use the skills that you have, and they will evolve over time, and understand also your career might evolve over time. But, you have to have a strong foundation, you have to have a great skill set, and be determined to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Don't be an aspiring anything. If you wanna be a writer, be a writer. You don't need to talk to people and being like, I'm an aspiring model. Well, guess what? If you're aspiring anything, you're not really there. You have to say what you are, and people will take you seriously. I wanted to be the owner of a business, and I had to be like, well, am I gonna be the owner of this business? Am I gonna be the CEO, or am I just gonna be a figurehead? Am I gonna be a manager? I had to make a decision. I had to step into the shoes that I wanted to fill. So that's something you guys gotta know. You have to say and do what you're doing. And it's all about action. If you're gonna be a photographer, you're gonna be taking photos. Even if you have an iPhone, like when I started taking photos, I used to just walk around the city and try to take like landscape photos. I will tell you, I'm not a photographer, but I wanted to understand angles. I wanted to understand like framing. I wanted to understand these things because they're actually really key in what I'm doing. Because I build people's portfolios. I make them look good. So I better know how to take a good photo and understand what composes a great photo. So there's a lot of aspects that you'll have to also research and find out to be really successful in your field as well. Just apply yourself, do things. If you want to take those producer classes, take them, do things. That's my biggest advice. Like I want to work on music, so I couldn't sleep for 3 days, so I bought a piano. And for me, that was something I was like, this is something I gotta work on, because I can't even sleep, I can't even think about anything besides buying this damn piano and writing my music. So, you gotta have action. But guess what? You gotta surround yourself with the right people too at that time when you do have these action moments, because these are the people that also, motivate you and support you and also believe in your ideals, right? People will obviously give you constructive criticism, and you also have to have an open ear for that. But also, people can be mean, and people will tear down your dreams sometimes, and it might be your friends. So beware of that too. There's backhanded things like, oh, you're here, and you're like, yeah, I'm here. Who are you? It's like, I know people too. So you just have to know that there are things that you're getting into the real world. People are catty. People are catty now, I'm sure. One of my girlfriends went to Ryerson and got into a fight with a ketchup bottle, but we're not going to talk too much about that. But yes, other people you want to take seriously, you want them to take you seriously, guess what? They'll take you more seriously if you're actually doing the work. I'll take someone more seriously if they've at least done something. If you're just like, oh my God, yeah, like I have 300 followers on Instagram and I studied communications and that's all I've really done. I've worked at Tim Hortons and Forever 21. What have you done? What have you done that's relevant to my business? If they understand I'm a small business, if I'm gonna pay you to do something, you better be worth every single dollar, because guess what? Every single dollar that I make is worth it for me, because I am spending my whole life doing this. So, you need to be able to prove to the people why you belong in their rooms. And what you track grows. So you have to keep track of everything, whether that's your finances, your goals, your followers, whatever you want to grow. Every single day I check my finances. I document how much I have in every single account so that I'm conscious of the money I'm making. And you know what this does? It stops me from buying that coffee at Starbucks. It stops me from being like, oh, I need this, I need that. I don't need that. What I need is a full bank account so that I can do the things that I want to do. Financial independence and financial freedom is the most important factor to success in this society. No matter what anybody says, you need to pay rent eventually. Even if your parents are paying your rent now, they won't be doing that forever. Who's gonna buy a house? It's gonna be way better if you buy your own house, if you buy your own clothes, if you buy your own shoes, if you buy whatever on your own, because guess what? You're like, nobody can take this away from me. I bought all of this, I did this. Trust me, there will be people who try to say that they gave you things, but they didn't. But they will try to say it anyways. So you gotta remove those opportunities. I'm talking to you women here, trust me, when you walk into a room sometimes, guys call you a ting. And you're like, I'm the one who's fucking planning this whole damn thing. But I'm the ting, you're the ting. You're the fucking guy at the door. So that's what I'm saying. You have to fucking show them why you belong here, And trust me, it's all about the work. More people respect me just because I'm a hard worker. That's all I'm here doing, Yeah, I dress fly, but it's about the hard work. You have to be a hard worker, and that's really the key to success. That's the only thing that'll get you there, because nobody is just going to be propelled to success overnight. And usually if you are, that comes with lots of fucking strings. And you don't want those strings, trust me, because that doesn't give you any freedom in your own life, and that's really what you want. As I mentioned, I do have, a checklist. Keep track of yourself. Guess what? If you're, doing your own business, the only person who's going to hold you accountable is you. Yes, other people might hold you accountable for things that, you're working on a project with them for. But guess what? You ultimately, at the end of the day, have to hold yourself accountable. When you make a mistake, you gotta also own up to it. There's been so many times I've made mistakes in this business. Invoice people the wrong way. I've had people, go to castings behind my back, and I've had to deal with the situation. You gotta accept when you've made a mistake. People will respect you a lot more. Because guess what? When you're like, oh, I've made a mistake, people are like, okay, well, I can't be mad because you've at least accepted it. There's not a but after that. That's one thing I've learned in this business. If you've got a but coming after anything, I don't want to hear it, to be honest, because I'm like, you're just making an excuse for this mistake. Own it. Nobody will ever be mad at you, because they can't, because you've just been like, man, I am so sorry. I will do better next time. Then people are like, damn, I respect the hell out of you. Okay, even though it was so bad, I'm not that bad anymore. So, we're going to do a little bit of a workshop exercise. So you guys all got booklets, pamphlets, but I encourage you to kind of take this beyond this. This is just like an exercise. So, there's two types of goals I believe in. I don't believe in long-term goals, and I don't believe in short-term goals. Because who knows when long-term is and who knows when short-term is. That is too much. So, I like to think of goals in two things. Dream goals and action goals. Guess what? Your dreams, they're not just dreams anymore. They need to be goals because they need to be attainable. You have to think about the language that you're using when you're applying things to yourself, right? If, say, for example, you're saying this is a dream, well, guess what? Dreams are, your subconscious. They're very unattainable. If you say, this is my big picture goal. Say, for example, one of my big picture goals is to go to space. And yes, I will be doing this. So I'm not ready for it now. Obviously, I gotta probably do a lot of training and be friends with Elon Musk. But that will happen because I will it so and work my ass off to get there. But what you have to understand is there's a lot of steps that it takes to get to that place. So say, for example, I wanted to start Miracle Management. That was one of my big dreams. I've always wanted to own a business since I was 14. I didn't grow up extremely privileged. I didn't have lots of money. I didn't, I wasn't even able to go on a lot of school trips a lot of the time. So, it was a disadvantage, quote unquote, to me. So So I was like, yo, I'm gonna have the biggest dreams possible because I know I can achieve things. So guess what? I wanted to, build Miracle Management. Guess what? The first steps were my action goals. It was to register as a business. It was to find people to create my website, to create my logo, to find contracts, a lawyer, find clients, be able to have the services that I use to submit people for work, have my, connections in the industry, have photographers, makeup artists, stylists, directors, photographers, all these people at my disposal so that we could create amazing content. But look at all the shit that it takes to make that one big picture thing happen. So that's what you have to understand is success is about your big picture, but it's also about action. Nothing happens in this industry without action. And it's an unfortunate reality that kind of our generation grows up and, thinking, oh yeah, well, we have it so good and we're educated and everything. But guess what? It takes hard work. It takes hard work, and if you do not have that due diligence, honestly, you'll probably end up working for somebody. So you have to realize what you want to do with your life. Do you want to work for yourself? Do you want to build other people's dreams for 10%? Or do you want to take that 100% and be able to build your own dream? That's what you have to ask yourself. So, does anybody have any crazy dreams that they want to share? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, I'm coming to you. And what's your name? Taylor.
Be on Ellen.
Oh, you want to be on Ellen? Okay.
Okay. Storytelling industry.
And what do you want to do with that?
With that, I just want to prove that there's just like a need for more money in Canadian entertainment and Canadian storytelling, and I want people to see that Canadian content is fantastic. There are many stories ranging from like Toronto to Alberta, Montreal, Vancouver, and not even just like the major cities, but also like Indigenous stories as well, visible minorities. There are just so many stories here. And have you guys seen like 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞 on Netflix? Yeah. So like 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞 on Netflix, I feel like that could be something here.
Awesome. See, that's a huge big picture goal, right? So, what are some action goals that you're going to take towards doing that?
But I do like write scripts sometimes. I also try to get as involved as I can because I find that the more people that I meet, the more different ranges of perspective that I have on certain things. So that's very important to me. So I think first is just kind of like making those connections, meeting awesome people because I do work with a lot of awesome people. And that's just those first steps.
Exactly. See, these are the proactive goals that make you successful. This is how you will be a screenwriter, director, on Ellen, doing whatever you'd like to do. Because those are all just small steps and accolades. Once you reach success, guess what? You got to maintain it after that. And maintaining it is a hell of a thing because guess what? It's a lot of work. And you now have to maintain this image. You have to be on 24/7. When you're walking down the street, guess what? You're on King Street West, you see 50,000 people that you know, and you have to be, hey, how are you today? It becomes very exhausting. You become very emotionally exhausted. But these are the very things that make you very successful. Anybody else have any dream goals they want to share? Don't be afraid. Like, we homies out here, this is a workshop. You should be comfortable. You have something?
Yeah. I want to be a video editor in New York for like movies and stuff.
Okay, cool. And what do you do now that's working towards that?
I try to learn something new about editing every day. So like I go online and I watch videos and stuff and I try to make as much videos as I can.
Amazing. See, these are the proactive things, and these are the things that get you to be who you want to be. Because guess what? If you want to work with the biggest director in the world and you're editing their project, they at least need to see that you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? And by knowing all of these techniques, it will elevate you to that next level and get you the respect that you deserve. Awesome. We have some time for one more. Anybody?
I really want my photography published in a planner magazine.
Amazing. And what are you doing now to make that happen?
Well, I'm going to school with it, making lots of connections with my professors, working for the admin at my university, so making a lot of connections there, and just like honing my
figure out how to do it, or just do my thing, making my plan.
Amazing. You should connect with some of the people that I brought here because I brought some photographers.
Oh, hello, I'm Megan.
But yes, it's very important, you know, hone those skills, do the things that you want to do, network with the people you want to network with. If you want to get published in magazines, you should look into Caviar because it's, you know, Matt over there introduced me to that, and it's a website that has all of the magazine publications in one place and all of their criteria and their credentials. So you're like, oh, this is all easy. It's a one-stop shop. Okay, I know you.
I mean, I did have one.
No, you do have one. No, you do have one. Spotlight.
I would like to put it on.
Oh.
When she brought up the stories, I was like, yeah, we have to kind of push forward this narrative of Canadian women and people and Indigenous, and yeah, I won an Oscar. I'm trying to just like finish my scripts, get them published, you know.
Canadian Screen
Yeah.
Awards.
Yeah.
Juno's also like that.
There's also like so many film festivals, just like go.
Penn Dance Film Festival next week. One of my clients is the programmer. If you guys want to know. Yeah, Penn Dance. Penn Dance.
Yeah, that's me.
Amazing. Does anybody else have one that they want to share? Oh, you do? Okay.
I wanted to be a published theater critic in the New York Times.
Amazing. And what are you doing now?
I have my own theater blog where I'm writing about the local Toronto theater scene, writing about major shows like Nervish or in the community like Perhaps or Lost.
Amazing, amazing. Well, there's a lot of theater productions coming to Toronto right now, actually, because we got a lot of funding for a lot of projects, even from Netflix, where they invested $500 million into the Canadian economy. Another thing that's very important to success is understanding your market. Know what's going on in your industry. Like, I know Netflix invested $500 million. CBS is building their largest production studio in the world here in Mississauga. Microsoft is building a headquarters in Markham. You know, you gotta know these things so that you know where the industry is going. You gotta know the trends. You gotta know what's actually happening in the damn city. You're never gonna be successful if you don't know what's going on. Because you need to know who the players are. You need to know how to move in this game. You need to know what the game actually is. So, did you guys write down some dream goals and action goals?
Big deal, just went in the workshop.
Yo, she just got a promotion. Hello! I love you. I love everyone. Okay. So, have you guys written that down? That's something I just want you guys to take as practice, you know, for yourselves. Because that's something, you know, I have this big goals list. You know, I just keep it on a Google Drive, and it's the craziest things, like, I want to be knighted by the Queen, you know, there's like some crazy shit. If I'm going to be knighted by Prince Charles, I'll just skip it until it's, you know, Prince William, because I feel like he's the English George Bush, so. But don't tell them that, because I want to get knighted. So, in Toronto, guess what? You have to be an entrepreneur to be successful. Hate to say it, but you gotta have like 12 side hustles in the city. Everybody I know has about 12 side hustles. Even my business does a million different things, you know? We produce content, we manage people, we get them bookings, we do social media management, we do brand consultation, we get them into events, we do, I don't even know everything we do some of the time because there's just so much that we're doing. But guess what? You need to be successful and you need to be able to make money in a variety of different ways, whether that's writing, whether that's, you know, directing, whether that's editing, whether that's taking photos, whether that's styling on a set, whether that's doing makeup, whether that's, you know, anything. You have to have so many different skill sets that you can use on any project that you're working on or any team that you're with. And you gotta be educated in your field, you know, you gotta understand the moving pieces of your industry and how everyone can be successful doing that. And also watch how people move around you. That is something I will tell you guys is a key to success. Because actions speak louder than words. There's a lot of talkers in this industry. So, people are, talking too much and they're not really doing a damn thing. Gotta be aware of that. Watch how they move. Watch what's going on, And you know what? At the end of the day, you gotta learn from the greats and you gotta stay learning. If you can find a mentor, that's what you want. My mentor is here. He came all the way from LA. Yo, yo, yo. Shout out to gucci in the house. Yeah, he's an icon. Like, seriously, though. Won't say it, but, he is. Signed the Rockefeller Records logo. Art director for Jay-Z at the beginning with Reasonable Doubt. OG gangster right here, But that's who I have as a mentor, all from networking and having great relationships with people, And you guys need to find mentors yourselves. You need to find people that you can ask questions from. And there's gonna be a lot of different people, You can't know everything. You can know what you know, but you can always find people to teach you something else, Like, I'll learn from a stylist, I'll learn from a makeup artist, I'll learn all these different little things because there's so many things I don't know because that's not what I'm focused on, But there are people who are focused and experts in their fields. So you just gotta respect that, learn from that, be humbled by that. No matter how successful you are, you will be learning from people. I'm still learning from people. I'm a kidult, I think, if you're not 30 yet, you're still a kidult. Not to put, anybody else down if you think you're an adult yet, but guess what, you're not. I don't even feel like I'm an adult yet. Like, I'm a big kid who happens to be able to, make boss moves. So you have to realize that you will keep your youthfulness and you will keep that, je ne sais quoi when you're doing this. But you also have to stay humble. And you have to know that there are other people who are going to school you and are also better than you. And the times that you're not humble is usually when you make really bad moves because your ego is involved. Maybe you think you're way better than this person who's like an OG in the industry and like, you probably ain't. And then guess what? They squash your career from afar and you didn't even know that it was about to happen. So it's very important to, respect, remain humble. Don't burn bridges. Don't do this whole Instagram drama where I'm putting up 12 Insta stories talking shit about whoever. That is crazy. I don't know, I've seen that a lot, so just avoid those things. They're bad PR moves, not things that you want to deal with or also be known for, because then nobody even wants to work with you, because you're that person who always has drama. People don't like working with drama. I certainly don't. And yeah, I have some books that I think you guys should read. So these are books that kind of inspired me throughout my career. So one of the first ones was Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. It taught me how to have a financial mindset. Understand that there are conditionings that we have within our society that make us financially unstable. We have so many things, especially as women. Do you know that 80% of consumers are women? So imagine all the money we could have been saving, making, doing whatever the hell we want other than buying clothes, shoes, whatever, to impress girls. Because honestly, that's usually who we dress for, I mean, girls will respect your outfit a lot more than a man will. He'll just be like, you look beautiful, and you'll be like, yeah, thanks. But a girl will be like, girl, those shoes, those nails, and you're like, yes, gas me up. So it's just, important. You gotta be financially stable. You gotta be aware of what you're doing, what you're making, and the moves that you're making. Sometimes people will be like, save for a rainy day. Well, I ain't trying to have rainy days. I'm trying to have great days. I save for sunny days because I want to be successful and have sunny days. I ain't trying to put out fires or fix droughts or floods. F that. So, one of my favorite PR gurus is Kelly Catrone. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Kelly Catrone is, but she's a beast, she's a savage, and she will rip you apart. She will literally rip your throat out in a room, and you'll just be standing there alive still. But if you guys watch The Hills, which is from, my era, I don't know. She was a great PR maven, and she's one of the only women in PR to really do this that well. But she had this book called If You Have to Cry, Go Outside. It was all about the ups and downs of what, she had to go through. She was a heroin addict. She did all this stuff. Then she managed all these huge brands, did their PR for them, planned runway shows, all based out of New York. Great book. You should read it, because you're just like, damn, she's tough, and I need to be tough like that. And my mentor gave me this book, This is Marketing by Seth Godin. It's incredible because it's more about authenticity, you know? Marketing is not really what everybody thinks it is. It's always about creating amazing content that's authentic. Like, I'm not gonna post something if I don't think that it represents me or my brand or who the fuck I am. I don't need to be anybody else, and neither do you guys. Because guess what? It's cliche, but everybody else is taken. Everybody already has that Instagram aesthetic, you know, the one I'm talking about with the skinny tee and the waist cinchers. We don't need more of that. We need more people who are doing things, like, for real though, like global warming. You guys need to be doing things. You guys want to be marketing things that are important, that are changing society, that aren't just reinforcing these patriarchal, you know, supremacist structures that are currently in place, to be honest. So you have to understand that this is what goes on. You're, you know, navigating through capitalism and a patriarchy that doesn't understand us, you know what I mean? Like, they just reverted the education back to 98. Like, what? Sex ed in 98? Like, what? Anyways, things I don't understand, but people in this room can change. You can change it through art. You can change it through organization. You can change it through doing something, through working with others, through, you know, being a great person and changing society that you want to be a part of. And then I read this book called Makers by Chris Anderson when I was in university. And it honestly made all of communications make sense for me because I understood that the medium really is the message. And everything that you do is so important. I'm like, are you guys thinking about Marshall McLuhan right now? Super sexy. No, I'm just kidding. Right? Marshall McLuhan, okay, see, everybody knows. But, you know, the medium really is the message. You know, for me, my biggest marketing platform is Instagram, right? I know that I'm in every single one of my followers' hands right there. So that's my medium. So what's my message? You know, I know that this could be a place where I could sell skinny tea, or I could just be one of those Instagram models. I don't want to be that. And I don't care to ever have a brand that fits that, you know, but you have the control over the message that you're sending through the medium that you have access to. So that's extremely important to cultivate and make sure that it is you and it is authentic to you. Because this is something you're probably gonna have to rep for a while. You know, I gotta be Miracle Management for a while. Like, I got a tattoo yesterday of Miracle Management. So, you know, you gotta rep this shit hard. And then finally, the power of now. Because guess what? Running a business is one of the most emotional things you'll ever do. Because guess what? You're going to deal with people who don't know how to run a business, who won't pay you. Sometimes people will ask you to work for fucking free. And yes, this happens. Trust me. It happens to me all the time. Now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, oh, you asked me to work for free, but I do all of this? Oh my God, who the hell are you? I won't even respond because I have no energy for that. And that's something I learned from the power of now. You gotta be conscious of your emotions. You gotta be conscious of your energy. People are gonna say things that piss you off. People are gonna do things that piss you off. Probably then and there in that moment isn't the best time to make a decision. You wanna make calculated decisions. This is your brand, this is your business, this is your reputation. The only thing people will know of you is your name and who you are and your skills. Because guess what, if they go on your Instagram page, that's all that's there. It's all about who you know. Your network is your net worth. And if your reputation is known for being some shady person who doesn't deliver, who doesn't pay people, who doesn't make great projects, guess what? That's your reputation that you've built. So that's very important, and you've got to always stay calm, cool, and collected. Because if you're not, you're going to make horrible mistakes that are going to be really hard to fix, and you're going to have to burn bridges and do whole public makeups like Drake did with Meek Mill and Chris Brown, you know. But he's lucky because, you know, he has a bunch of coin to do that and, you know, concert venues. But we don't have that, you know. Usually when you're making up, it's probably not happening. But yes, that's kind of the end of my like workshop. I'm gonna play one video and then you guys can kind of go ham on questions. Please, very constructive questions. No like, how do you believe in yourself? Just believe in yourself, people. You can do anything. You can. And this is why I think you can do anything. And yes, sorry, it is a white guy. I'm showing you back right now. Sorry. But it's one of the best speeches.
Thank you. Thank you to the Academy for this. All 6,000 members. Thank you to the other nominees. All these performances were impeccable, in my opinion. I didn't see a false note anywhere. I want to thank Jean-Marc Vallée, our director. I want to thank Jared Leto, Jennifer Garner, who I worked with daily. There's a few things, about 3 things to my account that I need each day. One of them is something to look up to, another is something to look forward to, and another is someone to chase. Now, first off, I want to thank God, because that's who I look up to. He's graced my life with opportunities that I know are not of my hand or any other human hand. He has shown me that it's a scientific fact that gratitude reciprocates. In the words of the late Charlie Lawton, who said, when you got God, you got a friend, and that friend is you. To my family, that's who and what I look forward to. To my father, who I know he's up there right now, with a big pot of gumbo. He's got a lemon meringue pie over there. He's probably in his underwear. He's got a cold can of Miller Lite. He's dancing right now. To you, Dad, you taught me what it means to be a man. To my mother, who's here tonight, who taught me and my 2 older brothers, demanded that we respect ourselves. And what we in turn learned was then we were better able to respect others. Thank you for that, Mom. To my wife, Camilla, and my kids, Levi, Vita, and Mr. Stone, the courage and significance you give me every day I go out the door is unparalleled. You are the 4 people in my life that I want to make the most proud of me. Thank you. And to my hero, that's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I'm not going to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero's always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing. So to any of us, whatever those things are, whatever it is we look up to, whatever it is we look forward to, and whoever it is we're chasing, to that I say amen. To that I say, all right. And to that I say, just keep living, huh? Thank you.
So the reason why I'm so inspired by that was really honestly by the end, you know. He always is chasing the best version of himself. And that's who I always try to be. Because guess what? That's the only person you can ever be better than, is yourself. You're gonna try to be better than others, guess what? You're gonna get lost. Because you're gonna just compare yourself and you're probably gonna make the same shit that they're making. Just out of like paying too much attention to that. So your goal is to just be the best version of you. So, does anybody have any questions? Questions, concerns, thoughts? Prayers? No, I'm kidding. Anyone. Don't be afraid. Okay, cool. I won't bite your head off, even though I don't smile in photos. That's not in real life.
So I just have a question, and it's more related to like I said before, like kind of fine art and publication when you're working with somebody when you are kind of an artist. I noticed that it can be really, really difficult because, especially in photography, people try to define your work and say, oh, what kind of photographer are you? And I'll say, oh, I do some fine art, and some street photography. And I'll say, oh, well, aren't you doing commercial? Aren't you doing portraiture? Aren't you doing this? Aren't you doing that? So I'm just wondering, what kind of advice do you have? Like, because I go through this struggle a lot where it's like people will tell me what I need to do and what I can't do, and it gets really hard. So I'm wondering if you know kind of what to say to that, how to get through that, because it seems like, especially as a student, people always want you to be more, right? Especially when you're in a meeting and people see you as the photo student, they don't see you as the photographer. So how do you kind of get through that bridge? And if you have any one-liners to kind of say, you know, a little bit nicer than fuck you, like let me know. But yeah, like it's really hard, and I just needed some kind of guidance on that. If you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, totally. So the thing is, when you tell people how to treat you by how you talk to them, how you walk into a room, how you look at someone in the eyes, tells them how to treat you. If you can't even look at somebody in the eyes, good luck. They've already won that whole conversation. So you need to tell them you're the photographer here. You need to own that space, and you need to define things for yourself. But the most important part is defining that for yourself when you're walking in there.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have anybody being like, I don't know, because you don't know. The only reason why other people don't know what you're doing is because you don't know what you're doing. You have to tell them. You know, like I can't walk into a meeting and be like, I think I'm this person's manager. No, I'm this fucking manager, and you better listen and pay the damn rate. If you don't pay the damn rate, I don't care. We don't need to be here, you know? You have to tell people how to treat you. Because trust me, other people, they already got big egos, you know? They already stroked their ego for the day. They're ready to shit on people. You don't want to be someone that they shit on. So you gotta be the person who, you know, honestly is ready to shit on others. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You gotta have big ovaries and big balls to be in entertainment. Yes, I said that. Does anyone else? Oh.
My question is, oh yeah, sure. Oh, sorry. My question is, if like you have a big idea for like a business or something, or you think you do, and you're just so overwhelmed with the concept of like starting and everything, and like what are some steps that like everyone should do if they want an actual business to make it happen, instead of just like sitting there and like, you know, thinking about it?
Okay, so I love that question. First step, research. Understand if there's permits that you need. Understand if there, you know, every business is registered as a business. You should know how to incorporate. It's online, it costs $200. You have to have a credit card. If you don't have a credit card, you have to have someone with a credit card on them. Then you might have to have that person be an incorporator on your business. That's another risky thing that you gotta worry about. So if you're gonna, you know, start a business, you gotta have everything prepared. Because incorporation is very important. You know, if you're doing a business with someone, if you're selling shares of your company and you've gone in a 50-50 deal, well, guess what? That person owns 50% of that company. So you better be prepared to handle that. People need to know their roles in any business before, you know, you bring them on. If I'm bringing in somebody to do marketing for me, I'm not going to be like, well, I think you're going to do marketing, and then, you know, maybe you'll be the director of operations, and maybe you'll do this, and maybe you'll do that. No, people need to have defined lines, especially if you're the owner. Because trust me, people will try to take credit for all the shit that you've done no matter what. There have been people who've tried to take credit for Miracle Management, and I'm like, no. So people will try to do that, and trust me, it happens. You know, people will try to say, oh, well, I gave you that. Nobody gave you anything. Unless, you know, someone paid for everything and you're just like standing there. But typically that's not how businesses start, you know. It's usually someone super proactive and does a bunch of research. Understand what it takes to get your business off the ground. Find the smartest ways to do anything. Don't spend lots of money right away. You know, like if you know you can do an online business first before doing a store or something, or a, you know, brick and mortar, probably best to do the online thing and not just accumulate all these costs, because you have to assess your ROI. ROI is your return on investment. If your return on investment is poor, then you probably shouldn't be in business. You know, like I started my business with $600, and that included incorporating, you know, building a website. I have a company that manages my whole website. I just tell them to do something and they update it, you know. But I pay a monthly service fee, you know? But I understand the cost that it takes to run a business. Businesses cost money. You also have to make money. It has to make sense. If you're not making sense, what is the point in doing this business? You're just gonna run yourself into the ground. You have to have a plan, and you have to have a market that you can reach. And you got to be able to prove it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to incorporate right away. If you've had a skill set, definitely incorporate right away. Like, if you've been doing photography for like 5 years and you're like, bro, it's probably time I start this, then yeah, do it, because you've already got experience, you've got clients and everything. But understand that starting the business, even putting up a website, all that costs money. You gotta buy a domain, you gotta buy emails, you gotta buy all this shit that nobody ever tells you about, you know what I mean? Like, you wanna buy an email, that's $7.99 a month. You better be making $7.99 a month to pay that. You know what I mean? So you gotta understand that this is a key factor to business. As a creative, you are a business person first. You're not a creative first. It's always easy to continue to make art. It really is. And I'm not saying making art is easy. I will never put artists down, but you know, I'm an artist myself. To write a poem is just a moment. Like, what do I do with that poem? If I want to make that a song, I have to write that, I have to compose that, I have to get it out there, I have to market it, I have to get an image for it, I have to distribute it on streaming. Like, think about all these things that I have to do if I want that one poem to be heard. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be very strategic in the things that you're doing. Strategy is everything. You are playing a long game. If you're going to be in this industry, you plan to be in this industry for the next, like, the rest of your life. To be honest, you know, like, you want to be able to make enough capital so you can kind of do whatever creative project you want. And that's really creative freedom. I have like 15 minutes? Okay. Question?
For managing, how do you find the right kind of clients?
Okay. So I think people based on personality, ethic, work ethic, who they are, their brand, it's a whole package thing. You know, there's a bunch of agencies that sign people and have thousands of people on their roster, and then guess what? You get lost in the shuffle. My agency is very small. It focuses on a small amount of people because I believe in quality over quantity. Because guess what? There are a dime a dozen of people wanting to do the same thing that you do. So what makes you stand out? The thing that makes people stand out is their personality. It's their vibe. It's their work ethic. Because guess what? If you're going to be on set for a 16-hour day, it's not about how beautiful you are at that point. It really isn't. And beautiful people, I'll tell you this, in Toronto are a dime a dozen. You know, there's a lot of them in this room. So you need to have something that separates you from the pack. And also, I like when people do things outside of this, you know? Like, I have a bunch of my models in this room right now. She's a stylist, a photographer, a videographer, knows how to fly a drone, like, badass, you know what I mean? Like, my boy over there is a poet and makes really dope poems. Sebastian's an artist and makes this crazy graphic art. So, you know, there's a bunch of people who do a variety of different things. They're not just, you know, one-dimensional. Because it's also about networking. It's also about meeting these right people. Most of the people who are doing commercials and music videos and all these things, they're like 20 to maybe 35 years old. So guess what? I think they like to know who, like, they like to work with you. You know, they're like, oh, I have to be on this set with people for 16 hours? Holy shit. I don't want to be with someone who has an attitude, you know? Like, I will never rep anyone with an attitude. And I'm like, I can make friends with anybody. If I can't make friends with you, you don't belong to this business. You know what I mean? So you want to have quality always. Be a well-rounded person, you know? Do things, read. People want to, you know, have conversations with you. People want to be impressed by you. Yeah. That's how I choose. I'm very selective, you know. I've met people, I didn't like their vibe, and I've just been like, I'm sorry, I don't like your vibe. Like, you look great, but I don't like your vibe, and there's the door. Sorry, not sorry. But it's the truth, you know. I have to want to like to work with you. Managing people is a long-term relationship. Like, I'm probably going to see you for a long time and probably know about your career and when you've gotten, you know, bad things happen in your life or people getting engaged or whatever. I've had lots of phone calls about lots of different things, you know? So, you gotta be prepared to have these people in your life. But yeah, any other questions?
What was the tipping point that convinced you that you were ready to start your own business?
Okay, so this is kind of a story. So I was working at an agency. Let's not talk about it because it was shit. And they didn't care about people at all. They cared more about the money. And if you care more about the money, guess what? Your business is gonna fail because you don't care about quality, you don't care about quality control, you don't care about the people who are with you and the people you're working with. And when you don't have that, it's fucked. So, sorry again. I was really frustrated and I was just bored of, selling contracts to people who I could get them jobs, but it was so hard because there wasn't quality control on our roster. We have 1,000 people and I'm like, what? So 1,000 people competing for one job is insane. And they were all also not quality because they signed everybody and I didn't have control over that because I was not the business owner. So I was growing increasingly frustrated, applied for a bunch of jobs, didn't get a damn thing except for, those pyramid schemes where they're like, yeah, meet me at this random house in Mississauga, and you're like, what the, you want me to fucking take a 3-hour bus ride to come to this random ass house? This is not legit. What am I selling? So I got a bunch of those and I was like, man, I can't do this. At the time, my partner, he got an all expenses cruise to Europe and we went together. And I was having this dilemma, do I go back to work? Do I go back to work? Do I go back to work? And I came back and I got really sick for a month and I was like, this is a sign. This is really a sign to do something else. And when I really felt that was when I just bought my website domain. And from there I just didn't really stop because I was like, if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna spend money on this, this better be the only fucking thing I care about. And it is the only thing I care about. Obviously I care about my friends, my family and everything, but that's also cultivated and been nourished and enhanced by this business that I've created because now I have a community. I can help people make money. I can help people tell their stories. I can help people meet each other so they can work together and tell their stories. It's not just this one thing. I've created a community. And that's the thing that's different, When you're creating a business, you're creating a community. There's a cult around AirPods. That's a community in and of itself, So you have to realize that that's, what you're creating when you're starting a business, when you're being a creative. You're here to change the world. And you're changing it with art, creativity, and with a message. So you better have one and you better be strategic about it. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay.
Oh, everyone good? My question is, how do you find your why? How do you find that intent for the first thing that you mentioned? Because I know there's a lot of creatives in here, and a lot of people have art and interest, and you might have everything kind of spread out. How do you hone in and find that spirit to start that process to build your track, to do everything that you're doing?
That's a great question because guess what? It's very hard to find your why. Sometimes I don't even know my why. And that's my honest to God truth. I don't know my why a lot of the times. But my why to me is just to make sure that I have a great life for me, my friends, and my family. So as long as I'm consistently working towards that, I know that no matter what I do, I'm going to be inspired by that. Because the thing is, say for example, my mom was Filipino, I have this really dumb movie I'm not going to tell you guys too much about because, I don't want nobody to steal my ideas. But, because of my heritage, learning more about myself, learning, more about others, I've now been able to be like, oh, that's something I want to do because I want to tell that story. Sometimes your why just kind of sneaks up on you. Sometimes it's something like a friend says in a conversation and you're just like, it's just a thought or a sentence that they have said and it's just something that you keep thinking about and 3 days later it's something you've now written a poem or made a song or taken a photo for, I've had so many great conversations that have led to me creating amazing poetry and then, that manifests into a photo shoot, that now I have something to post this poem for, So you have to constantly be looking also for your why. You have to be listening to yourself too, because there's things that you kind of just know, but sometimes you shut out for others. My Uber driver was pitching me because he's a producer the other day. And he's playing me all his tracks and everything, and he's like, I'm like, why aren't you doing this full time? Like, these are actually sick. His artist wasn't sick, but he was. And he was like, well, it's my parents. And I'm like, well, you know, if your whole life you're gonna just make your parents happy, guess what? You'll never be happy, you know? And chances are, being a creative, you're not trying to do anything that's, you know, inappropriate or like, you know, messed up to create a life for yourself or create finance for yourself, you know? So, you know, if your creativity is like, man, I really want to be able to tell people's stories or, you know, represent something in a different light just through my video, my photo, whatever, you know, people will take that. But you understand your why will always change, you know, like it's an evolving process. Who you are at, you know, 20, 21 is definitely not who you are at 26. I'll tell you that. So, because I'm 26, that's why I know. I'm not the same person who I was when I got out of university, you know. When I got out of university, I'll tell you guys this, I was working at a gym in Rosedale, and I was like, what, this 18-year-old's my boss? I have a degree and you just got out of high school. I was like, what am I doing here? And guess what? I was like, I need to do something else because this was not my purpose. But I didn't know what my purpose was. I just put myself out there because I knew that wasn't it. So sometimes that's kind of what it is. You just kind of like fall into it. You know, you have to let yourself fall into it and explore that for yourself. Because if you don't do that, you'll end up exploring that for yourself at like 40 years old when you already have kids and a family. And it's very difficult for you to like, you know, branch out of a structure that you've already created. So now's the time to, you know, explore yourself. Explore your why, you know. Smoke one and think about it. Well, it's legal, so I don't really care. But yeah, you know, think about what you guys want to do. Think about what makes you happy. That's really what's important, you know what I mean? That's what's going to be your why. If you like making music, if you like taking photos, if you like modeling, if you like acting, whatever, do it. Figure out if you actually like it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who get into modeling and they're like, what? I'd rather be the photographer. Then they're like, I don't want to be the photographer, I want to be the videographer. And then they're like, I don't want to be the videographer, I want to be the director. I don't want to be the director, I want to be a producer. You know, like people just understand that you will never just be in one place because you've never been in one place your whole life. It's a transition. You're always going to have different whys, you know. But your thread of your why should always be the same. You know, it should be to make yourself happy. It should be to contribute and provide for yourself and your family and like the people around you, because as Oprah said, your friends can't watch your life. They can't. And if you're the only one who's successful, you're probably going on those trips alone. It's the truth. And you want friends around with you. You want friends who can do shit with you. You don't want to be like, yo, I'm at this party by myself. Like, that gets lonely. You want to bring your friends up with you. And trust me, all of my homies from university, like, they're still here. You know, like Kyle, who asked that question, we went to a Frank Ocean concert at Government, like, way back in the day. You will build relationships that are gonna last a long time. So it's very important to understand that, and that's also what will, you know, drive you, because you'll have people around you who are dope-ass collaborators, and you're like, what? Let's make this. So, you know, make the best of the skills that you have, the hand that you're dealt, and play that fucking card to the best of your abilities. I think that's all for today, folks. You know, if you guys have any questions, I'm still here. You can add me on Instagram. You know, don't forget to tag me if you took some videos, because that obviously looks super cute. So yeah, focus on, you know, your brands and yourself, people, and you'll be very successful. Thank you for coming. I'm like, this is what my phone calls are like every day, so I'm like, okay, no, I'm ready. Oh, yeah. I need the mic. Check 1, 2, 1, 2.
How did everybody find that workshop? So, thank you, Miracle, so much for your time. Coming here, so it's just a little gift for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's alcohol. We all need that a little bit tonight, so. 2-minute break until the next workshop. So if you just head on to the hall, there's some steps.
Awesome. No. That's really good.
Yeah, it's so well.
I'm
I honestly learned so much.
at public speaking, so it's like really enlightening to watch.
No, I hear that.
Just be very proud.
I know God is good.